Good morning, Nachum. Good Erev Shabbos, everybody. Whoa. It feels like it's like Macharos. It's the day after Purim. I know it's a few days ago, but Baruch Hashem, I'm still under the influence of. And I'd like to share with you an exciting insight into Parshas Ki Sisa, which according to the Chinuch has 9 mitzvos, 3 positive and 6 restrictions, and this is the third of the 4th special Shabbat, special Parshios. This is Parshas Torah, that the Maftir will come from the 19th chapter of Vayikra, the Paraduma, and I hope we'll be able to tie the two together. Just hold on tight. Okay, now in one word, the central part of Parshas Ki Sisa is 2 words, the Cheto Egel, the sin of the golden calf. Oh my goodness, the obvious question is, how is it possible that Moshe comes down after 40 days of their miscalculation, that they were expecting him yesterday and they couldn't wait, unbelievable, and look what happens. Moshe comes down to El Elohecha Yisrael. They're dancing around the golden calf. How's this possible? And not only that, but there's a beautiful essay by Rav Avigdor Nebenso Shlita, the Rav of the Ir Atika, Yerushalayim, Mirtz Baruch Hashem, he should live and be well. A beautiful elderly Jew who writes the following essay, the first of his essays on Ki Sisa in his Sefer Sichos to the book of Shmos, and he basically says, where does the sin of the Egel begin? So you're going to tell me that it begins with Moshe or seeing the people. No. Says Rav Nebenso, it begins at the end of Parshas Mishpatim. If you take a look at the last few verses of Parshas Mishpatim, so Moshe says to the Jewish people, I am going up to Hashem, to Sinai. I am coming down. And he says to the Jewish people, listen carefully, right before Maftir in chapter 24, Pasuk 14, in Mishpatim, he says, unbelievable. To the Zakenim, Moshe said, stay here until I return. V'hinei, and behold, Aaron v'chur imachem, I'm leaving 2 people in charge. There's an emergency number to call in case there's a problem. Aaron and Chur are your leaders. They are in charge. Mibal dvorim yigash aleim, lest any problem come about. Well, I ask you, did a problem come about? No, not a problem, a crisis. And that is, Moshe's gone. Oy. Moshe's gone. And what does the Ramban understand this at the beginning of his commentary on the Cheto Egel, that we're dealing about and with a nation that had at Sinai a vision of the Meiser Merkava as described by the Navi, unbelievable. And he sees the chariot of God, and one of the forms in the chariot is a shore. Unbelievable. So there's something going on with the ox. And they realize, says the Ramban, that they're looking for more spirituality now that Moshe is gone. because they saw, as the Gemara tells us in Shabbos, that the Satan shows them up in the sky, Moshe as if lying on his deathbed. Moshe's dead. Oh my goodness, what are we going to go from here? And they're worried. Come on, maybe the Mun will stop. Maybe the Be'er will stop. They have what to be frightened about. So they're looking not for a new God, they're looking for a replacement of Moshe. Whoa. But listen carefully. The problem is, says Rav Nebenzahl Shlita, they were warned. You have a problem, here's what you should do. You should, come on, consult Aaron and Hur. So what do? They go to Aaron and Hur. Take a look, everybody, in Ki Sisa, chapter 32, Pasuk 5. Vayar Aaron saw, Vayiven, and he built Mizbeach Lefonav. He built an altar before him. Oh my goodness, that's how you're reading it. So the rabbis tell us you're making a big mistake. Look in the Gemara Sanhedrin and Tav Zayin Amar Aleph, and don't tell me he saw Vayiven and he built. No, but Vayiven, he understood, Bina. And the word, the Baal Koreh better say Mizbeach. But the Gemara understands the word to mean not Mizbeach, but Mizavuach. He saw from the one that was slaughtered before him. Who was slaughtered? Hur, Aaron's nephew, Miriam's son. When they came to Hur, they say, Hur, make for us a god. He said, what are you, crazy? They killed Hur. Oh my goodness. So now that they killed Hur, Aaron was afraid, they might kill him. So what are you going to say? It was in self-defense? No. The Gemara in Sanhedrin 7a says that lest it be fulfilled through them, in Behoreg b'mikdash, like it says in Eicha, chapter 2, in Mikdash Hashem, Kohen v'Navi, and if, God forbid, now that they killed the Navi, they'll kill him as well, and there will not be any takana, there will not be any way of forgiving. Let them worship the Avodah Zarah. Whoa, that at least there'll be tshuva. Unbelievable. That part of the reason for the Chet Egel was to show the ability of tshuva to erase even the sin of Avodah Zarah. But let's get back over here. So Rabbi Nebenzahl says so profoundly that this Chet of the Egel begins with their looking to replace Moshe, and they're meaning well. But the idea is they unfortunately acted on their own, and they thought they didn't have leadership. And therefore, what they did on their own was lacking the approval and the command of Hashem, and therefore it turned out to be a terrible disaster. Okay, having said this, we go now to the following. What was so bad that the Jewish people went to the party of Achashverosh? So the Gemara Megillah 12a says, that Shesiach Hadas Einones. What does that mean? It means that they were not forced to drink wine which was unkosher. The food was glad kosher. The wine was not yayin nesech. Unbelievable. Achashverosh was such a great host. He said to the Jewish people, come to my party. It's going to be glad kosher. And guess what? The Jewish people went to the party. Ouch. Now listen carefully. Mordechai told them not to go. What do we have? A rejection of the authority. They went thinking, come on, what could be so bad? What could be so bad? We know that what did Achashverosh do? Whether he put them on or displayed them, but he said, everybody, look at the big day kahuna. Look at the clothes of the high priest. The Jews are not going to need this anymore because there's not going to be another Beis Hamikdash. So they attended the party celebrating there will not be another Beis Hamikdash. That's a big ouch. So listen carefully. So that's why the Gemara says in 12a in Megillah there was a threat against the Jewish people because of their going to the party, because of their rejection of Achashverosh, of Mordechai's direction. So listen carefully. Until today, if I would have asked you, what's your favorite pasuk in the Megillah? Hard question, favorite pasuk in the Megillah. So I would tell you what I would have said until today. Until today, I would have said, go to chapter 9, pasuk 28, which says that these days are remembered and practiced and fulfilled in every generation, every family, every Medina, every province, every city. And the days of Purim, 2,500 years ago, was written by Mordechai Esther, Lo Yavru Mitoch HaYehudim. This used to be my favorite pasuk. V'zichrom lo yasuf mizaram. There'll always be Purim. Whether the Purim was observed in a shul, and you heard the Megillah in shul, like many people in Fairlawn, New Jersey, or unbelievable, my friends in Eretz Israel, where'd you hear the Megillah? I heard it in the garage, underground, because that was a safe place. Where did you hear the Megillah? I heard it in the Miklat. I heard it in the Mamad. Unbelievable. And where did you have your Seudah? Not like Yudin in his dining room, living room, whatever it is, both. Come on. In Fairlawn, New Jersey, where did you have yours? We had the first part in the house, and then we went to the Miklat, then we went to Mamad. Unbelievable that we lived Purim literally in front of us this year. You have to realize how exciting it is. So now I'm going to tell you what my favorite pasuk is. It used to be, like I told you, chapter 9, pasuk 28. What do I know? Look at this. I want you to take a look in the Megillah, the last pasuk in chapter 4 in the Megillah. Mordechai says to Esther, please go to the king and beg for your people. Okay. She says, I'll go, Bubby, if you listen to me. 3 days, we all fast. You fast for me, I'll fast for you. We all fast together. Okay, so watch. What's the last verse in chapter 4? Here's my favorite, Vayavor Mordechai. So Art Scroll, and I love them, translates, and Mordechai went. Simple thing. And Vayas, and he did. Kachol Shet Tzipsol of Esther. He listened to his wife like a good husband. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? So the Gemara in Megillah, where? Whoa. 15a says, Vayavor, says Rav, that it comes not like Art Scroll translates and he went. No, it comes from the Hebrew word Aveira. Oh, where does Art Scroll get it from? This is Rashi gets it from the Gemara in Megillah 15a, where the Gemara says that Rashi, Vayavor Mordechai al das, he went against our religion, Lisanos, that he declared a fast. The 3 days included Yom Tov Rishon Shel Pesach, the first day of Pesach, that we fasted 14, 15, 16 of Pesach, and therefore we abstained from the biblical mitzvah of eating matzah. Whoa! You need big shoulders for that. So Mordechai said to the people, don't eat matzah. And guess what? We listened to Mordechai. We listened to Mordechai. We followed instructions, the instructions of the Rabbanim, instructions of the Jewish authorities. Then go to chapter 5. On the third day, Vatilbash Esther Malchus, Esther is adorned with royalty. What's the royalty? The royalty is that the Jewish people listened to Mordechai. They followed instructions. What was the sin of the golden calf? That they did not follow instructions. What does Rashi say at the end of chapter 19 in Bamidbar, where the Torah says that the quintessential chok is the paraduma. What do you mean the quintessential chok? Rashi says, what do you mean the paraduma, the red cow? The red cow is to clean up the mess of its child, the golden calf, that made a mess in the palace of God. So the mother comes and cleans up the schmutz of its baby. So the cow, which is the Pora Aduma, is coming to atone for the calf. What does that mean? It means that there's a very significant takeaway from this entire Purim, from this entire episode. The episode is probably that my previous favorite pasuk is probably still my favorite pasuk, even though the last verse of chapter 4 is my runner-up. But the idea is to listen to the Chachamim. And Baruch Hashem, we've been listening to them for all these years, and take a look how special this past Purim was for all of us. May we continue to see Nisim V'Niflaos, and please God to celebrate Geula to Geula, the Geula of Purim, with the forthcoming Geula of Pesach, with happiness and joy throughout the Jewish world. Shabbat Shalom to all.